I'm Michael Weiss. I'm a biologist at the Center for Whale Research, and I'm also a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Exeter in the United Kingdom. I don't remember a time when I wasn't interested in whales and in killer whales. It's kind of just been a constant thing in my life. So what our research has really shown about the social structure of killer whales, some we already knew, which is that they have this really intense matrilineal social system. So you stay in your mom's group for your whole life. And what we've also been finding is that they have these really close relationships outside of their matriline. And so they have these friends that they make outside of their family, usually friends who are of the same sex or a similar age. And one of the main ways those social relationships, both within the family and we're finding actually across family units, is expressed is by sharing salmon. The question of kind of why you would share outside of your close kin circle when you yourself might not have enough fish is a really interesting one. I mean, I think it's the same reason we help our friends, right? And if you have social relationships and you care about those other, your friends and your family, you're going to share with them, maybe even especially when times are hard, right? There were two moments of prey sharing this last year that I think were the most surprising for me. The first, in the moment, we were watching the L54 subgroup. So that's L54, her two sons, and then an unrelated adult male. First, we just had L54 and her two sons traveling together, and we didn't know where the big guy was. And then we see this, big shape of a whale coming up with a big fish in his mouth, and we notice him biting it in half. The biggest part goes to L54, kind of the matriarch. She takes it, she breaks that part even further up, and some of that goes back to her two sons. So we have this kind of chain of sharing, starting with this adult male and ending with these two younger males. This was surprising in the moment for us. He is not related to these three other whales. He travels with them, they're his main social group, but he's not related to them. The second one, this adult female, shares a fish with J51 and J58. And we're like, oh, that's really lovely. That's a mom catching a fish and then sharing it with her two kids. Only to go back and rewatch the footage later and realize that wasn't J41 sharing, that was J22. The whale, again, not related to these two young whales. She did, honestly, the majority of the work. She took that fish and then shared it with those two, despite especially the youngest whale there, J58, kind of messing up the hunt as it was happening. It felt like a really special moment to be there for. This whale taking the time to, use her experience to help out two younger kids and make sure they get some food. There's increasingly movement, I think, in the scientific side of it and on the policy side to really recognize how central salmon are and how it goes beyond any one issue. I think it's a really long, hard road to start going down, but even the fact that it's a thing I hear people talking about gives me hope. From the scientific side of it, something that gives me hope is that salmon are very good at surviving and reproducing. All we need to do is to give them the opportunity to come back. With the killer whales, obviously they don't have the benefit that the salmon have of producing a bunch of offspring all at once. What they do have is decades and decades of knowledge. They know how to find fish, they know how to hunt fish, they know how to take care of each other. All they need, again, much like the salmon, is for us to give them a chance.